Hey, what's up guys? So I wanted to make a video about the React Context API, a little bit of how to use it, and then as well as what the provider pattern is. If you don't already, this is definitely something you're going to want to know about because you'll find it in a lot of examples online. So let's jump in. Typically, what we do when we want to pass data down from, let's say, some higher up point in our component tree to something really far down, like nested lower within our component tree, is we do something called prop drilling. So maybe it actually looks something like this, where the React app itself is getting the user data, and then we pass it into the header, then to the nav bar, then to the user menu, which is ultimately where we actually want to use it. So we could do this. This is how there are apps out there who do this. I've done this in the past, but it's really annoying. I think this is kind of like where Redux and other state management libraries come into play here, where this is kind of leading to like really kind of like spaghetti code, but also code that can easily break because each of these components needs to touch the user data object in order to pass it to the next component to where we actually need it. So the solution to that is the context API and the provider pattern. So this is what that might look like, and this is what we're going to be showing in examples in today's video, some different use cases and how you might work with it in different ways. So what we'll do instead is we will wrap our entire application inside of a provider, and the provider has access to and provides the access to the context that is going to store what we want to actually be getting access to. And then we'll use this use context hook anywhere in our application where we want that context. And we will pass it the context, a reference to it, and it will return to us whatever the value is of that context object. And whenever it updates, it will let all of the components know that are trying to access to it that it's been updated and that you should go and refresh or re-render in order to show the updated or gain access to the updated value. You can see that I have a basic React starter application using Vite, and we have this counter here, and we can continue to click on it, and when I refresh the page, it'll reset, right? But you might notice over here in our application, in the app package, there is no state, right? We do have this component here, and that's where the magic is happening, but there's no state right here. If I click into this, we'll actually see that I've created a provider, a context and a provider. And then I've also created a button that is actually using this context. So let's walk through what this does. First, we use a special function from React called create context. You'll have to call this whenever you want to create a new context. And we're going to create a theme context right there. Then we're going to wrap our entire application, which consider that the one component is kind of like our application. You would actually want to wrap at this point here, but just for the demo, I didn't do that. So one is basically treated as our application. So we wrap everything inside of it. And this basically everything inside of here will have access to it. In this button component, you'll see that we call this context to get it using use context. So we pass in a reference to the context that we want, which comes back to here. And then we get back the value of that context, and that'll be updated for us whenever we want, really. And then what we do is we just pass it in and say that we want the class name of this button to be button-theme. And what I've done here is I think it's here, I have two different classes here, button light and button dark, which basically we use depending on what the theme is set to via the context. So pretty basic, and otherwise this is really just the same thing as what you would get from the actual just starter project from Vite if you want to use React. Actually React TypeScript, but React nevertheless. One thing you do want to make sure that you're doing is you want to not forget to wrap your application or whichever part of your application you want to have access to this context. Don't forget to wrap it in this provider thing here. I've seen a lot of tutorials online which actually do forget to do this. I understand that they probably expect that maybe you know that, but it's still, in my opinion, kind of incomplete. So don't forget to do this. If things aren't working, check this and make sure that you are wrapping it. That could be one reason that it's not working for you. Let's take a look at our second example here. And in this one, what we'll see is something a little bit different. This case, it actually won't work. It'll look like it works, and we'll have a light theme here on this button. and it looks like everything is going okay. However, in reality, this actually isn't working. And the reason is because React always looks up the component tree in order to find the provider or the context that it should be referring to and getting access to. So in this case, we are defining the context here and providing it, but we're also trying to use this context in the same place which we are defining it. You can't do that. It can only look up. So if we were to take this and put it into a different component like we did with the first example, then it would work. However, in this case, it's not going to. I can demonstrate that this is true because right here I have value light, and you might be thinking, well, this is light, so that obviously works. But in fact, it doesn't, because if I change it to dark and save it as I just did, we can refresh as many times as we want here. It still isn't going to work. Why? Because it's not how it works. You can't refer to the same context that is being defined in the component in which you're trying to access that context. It needs to be higher up in the component tree. Now, let's take a look at another example in which we want to update the value of the context. You probably won't want this to stay the same the entire life cycle of the application. For example, a user, if you're maybe using the context to keep track of the theme, dark versus light mode, for example, you might want the user to be able to toggle that on and off, which means that the value of the context needs to change. Another example would be if you have user data. When a person first goes and accesses your site, there might not be a user. There probably won't be. But once they sign in, you want there to be a user that gets populated, and you'll want the context to be able to update so that you can access that user object throughout your application. So let's take a look at how we might do that. What I've done is I've taken our component before, the numbered components. So remember that we're treating this as the root of our application. And I've gone ahead and basically just taken what we had in example number 1. I have my context here. I have the component here. I have a provider here that's going to wrap a button. But in this case, instead of keeping track of a number, what we've done is I've created the state that is going to keep track of the theme. We're starting out with light. That's going to be the first value that we pass into useState. And then what we do is we have a function that is going to handle changing the theme. And when I come over here and I hit the button, every time I hit the button, the theme will change between dark and light. Starts out as light, changes to dark, and so on. Now, what we can do is we can provide that handler right here to the button, which comes in, takes it in as a function, well, in this case any, but it takes in the function as props. And then instead of adding to a counter when I hit the button, it basically just calls this function that we passed in as props. And this function here, again, is just updating the value of state, of the theme state object, or theme state object, right? That's all that this is. And as a result of doing that, we are able to change the theme. You could apply this same approach to anything that you want, be it the theme in this case, or some other state about your application, or maybe the user that's logged in, whatever it is that you want. Really quick, before we go on to the next example, I just want to mention that if you want to see a written version of this video, check out the link in the description below at DevKafe, which is my new social network and cookbook app for developers. Sign up today. You can create your own recipes showing how you solve problems in your own engineering tasks and projects. And you can also check out other people's solution to problems in the link below. Let's now go on to our fourth example. And in this one, we're going to refactor our code here a little bit because there's nothing wrong with what we've been doing, but as our application gets bigger, it'll start to become harder and harder to keep track of stuff because inside of our main component, our app component, we'll end up having a lot of different state and a lot of different functions and methods and so on and so forth that basically will update the state of our application and that our providers will use or our context objects will use. It would be a lot better if we could separate these things based on concerns or domains and separate the business logic out that kind of goes along with each of those things. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to, just like before, we have our numbered component here, but then we have a theme provider and we don't have a context here. What we've done is we put that inside of a new provider component because technically our application, which is represented by this number 4 component, has nothing to do with the context, nor the provider. Though we do need to use the provider in this component in order to provide it to the rest of the application. But it actually has nothing to do with it overall, nor its business logic, nor the actual domain that it represents. So what we've done is we've created a new theme provider component. And it's totally common and cool to make a number of these for each different provider type that you need, and then have a providers component, which kind of holds all of the different providers that you might have, and then use that single providers component to wrap your entire application. So in here, what we did before, or just as we did before, we basically extracted that out and just created a theme provider component, which gets children and wraps the children with the same context.provider tags that we saw before. Nothing different about this. It works the exact same way. And if we go ahead and try it out on our application, everything is the same. We don't see any changes, and that is a good thing. That's just what we wanted. Let's take a look at another example where we provide a default value. You might have noticed before that there was inside of the theme in example, I think it was 2. Yeah, example 2, I had this light being passed in here in create context. This is the default value of this context. And you might notice that here, if I change this to dark, even though we're wrapping it, because once again, we're trying to use the context in the same component that is actually defining the context, it won't work. So even though our counter is still working, we can't change between light and dark theme simply by updating this value, which is what we did before when we were talking about how to update the context value. This no longer works. However, notice what happens here. If I change light to dark inside of create context, it will change to dark. And it doesn't care what happens inside of this value here. If I do dark, well, it's already dark. But if I change this back to light, it will change back to light, and it will ignore this value right here. This is the default value. This allows us to set that default value, this right here, inside of our call to create context. So in this next example, I want to talk about something that I kind of alluded to before, which is that React, when you call use context, is going to look to the closest provider for that context above the component that is calling for it in the component tree. And what this means is that it allows you to basically have separate parts of your application respond and interact with the context in different ways. So for example, here I have a button that is dark and a button that is light. They both still use our button light and button dark theme classes. However, they look a little bit different. And the reason is because I'm wrapping the context or the entire application in this theme provider context and providing a dark option to it, which I then have a button just like before. However, I have another button, but that button is separately wrapped still inside of our original context, but it has a light value that's being passed into it. If I were to change this to dark, we would see that both buttons are now dark, but since I had it as light, that basically means that one of them was going to be light and one of them is going to be dark, because the use context that's inside of this button right here is only able to find this context provider, not this context provider. It searches all the way up the tree until it gets to the root or until it gets to the first found context provider, which in this case, again, has the light option, not the dark option. This basically means that you could have different parts of your application respond and interact with the context in different ways. Let's talk about an optimization that you can make for our last example here. So in this one here, we still have our theme provider component that we created before. And inside of there, one of the problems that we have is that we don't need this. Inside of here, one of the problems that we have are that this right here, this is an object, or this is a value rather, and this is a function. This is just a string, and this is a function. And we would be passing the object that contains them of type theme into our provider down here. But the problem is that every time that there's a re-render, React is going to re-render all of the children of the component that is calling use context. In a small application like this, that's just really a modified starter template that Vite gives you of React, that doesn't really matter. But in a bigger application, it can make a big difference and slow down your application. So you obviously don't want to do that. The reason that this happens is that even though to us, we understand that the theme didn't really change, nor did the handler function, the change theme function that is, from React's perspective, there's still different instances of the function. And so what we can do is we can utilize use callback and use memo as a way to basically help React understand that these things aren't actually changing, at least more from like a human perspective. And the result in that is that React won't actually re-render anything unless we were to actually change the state or the function that it was pointing to. But as long as that doesn't happen, React won't make any changes and thus, or will recognize that no changes were made and thus won't have to actually re-render anything. And this saves us on the performance of our application and allows us to build one, a more robust and reliable application, but also one that users are going to be able to enjoy a lot more as our application grows. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this video of these examples that I put together for you, and I hope it made sense. If it didn't, let me know down in the comments below. If you want to see a written article or written version of this tutorial, check out the link in the description. Sign up for DevGrub, which is my cookbook app that I built for developers. It basically helps you share your solutions to common problems, or maybe not common problems, that engineers face all the time. You can share them with other people. Eventually you'll be able to follow them. You'll be able to create them. I'm working on something that could allow people to make money off of it too. So kind of wait and see on that one. But in the meantime, go and check it out. And I think it'll be really great. And I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching again. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.